Hello magical beings, welcome to my channel. This video is going to be about the 5 Solomonic Planetary Pentacles of Venus, and I'm going to talk about how I've previously worked with these planetary pentacles and another way that you can work with them, which is the more traditional way to work with the pentacles. I'm going to share with you my gnosis, my experience, and take you through what each of the 5 planetary pentacles of Venus mean, and this breakdown of how to work with them and how I've worked with them applies to all of the planetary pentacles as well. So welcome, I am Aradia Arcanum. I am a practitioner of magic, and if this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up if this is the type of video you would like to see. And yeah, so let's just jump right into it. So the first thing, I have my notes here on my phone. So the first thing I want to go over is the methods that I have used. And there is not one that I prefer more. It is simply based on what I feel the energies is that I want to work with and how I work with that, and depending on my practice right at the time. So originally, I've shared using the pentacles much in the way that you would use a sigil. So I would activate it based on the method of like activating a sigil. I use it to work with that planet's energy, that planet's virtues and archetype of the planet. And each pentacle is specific to the certain virtue of that planet and how you can work with that. So when I in the past would activate the pentacle, however you use a sigil is the way that I used it. So you can use it when you activate it. I would put it in a jar, and that would be, for example, we're talking about Venus. If I want to activate that pentacle to attract love, I would take that pentacle, activate it, and then place it in a jar and maybe put some Venus botanicals and different elements, maybe pieces of copper, but that would be the love attraction jar where I would place the activated pentacle of Venus inside. Right, you can use it in a charm bag, which I've done. Activate the pentacle, and depending on its purpose, right, you place those elements with the printed pentacle inside the charm bag. Or, as I've shared here, when you want to set some intentions, activate that pentacle and then place it under a candle. I believe I have activating the Pentacle of Sheba, which is the second pentacle, I believe, of Venus. So I have that here, so you go take a look at that. But those are some of the ways that I've worked with the pentacle in the past. My default go-to was to use them as sigils. So then the more I worked with them, I decided, how about let me find out what is the traditional way to work with the Solomonic Pentacles. So I went, there is a woman that I found on YouTube who actually has a course over on Udemy, which is, if you want to work with these pentacles in the more traditional way, I highly recommend going to check that Udemy out. It was very informative, very straightforward. She supplied some of the pentacles, all of the pentacles actually, and she broke it down, and she shared how to activate it, what to do with it, and how information on each of the pentacles. So when I had that information, I then decided, let me see how to work with the pentacles in this way. So the traditional way, at least how she taught it, is that when you want to work with the energy of a specific pentacle, you work with that. When you activate it, that lasts a couple of weeks, and you would, like a charm bag, you would carry it on your person somewhere, and keep it close to you during that time. You first do a purification ritual, which would mean you are cleansing your space, setting the tone, pretty much what we do in Magick, right? You set the tone of the space, and you make sure everything is ready. And you can even go as far as cleansing yourself physically. And I would suggest that, excuse me, because that leaves no room for anything to block the energies from you receiving the channeled energies during activation. So after you purify and cleanse the space, prepare the space, the next thing you want to do is meditation. This is further preparing you by grounding and balancing your energy. These are things to set you up to receive that channeled energy. Because if you go into this, just jump into it, 9 times out of 10, the energy doesn't have a direct flow to you, because it's blocked by the energies, unbalanced energies. So you first do that purification ritual, which is setting the tone, and then the next thing you do is the meditation. And this meditation, you could do it several ways, whatever works for you. But the point of the meditation is to ground and balance your energies. And all while you're doing this, you want to have the pentacle set out in front of you, so that this whole time you are connecting with that pentacle. So after the meditation, the third thing that you're going to do is speak affirmations. And these are intentions for that specific pentacle of the energies that you want to manifest. So you are speaking these affirmative intentions as though they were so. So you can speak however many you feel led to do, 3, 2, 3, 4. But at that time, right, this is the time that you are really raising that vibration of what it is that you want to manifest. So then the fourth thing is now this is the time to activate the pentacle. So I am going to do a video going through the activation. I can't break it down here. It's a bit much, but at that time you activate the pentacle. And then right after the activation, like I mentioned, you have the 2 weeks that you carry and work with that energy. And at the time, after the 2 weeks is up, if you feel like what you wanted to manifest is still in the process of being manifested, you can then sit with that and reconnect with those energies. There's things that happen, right, to upset the balance of your energy. So sometimes that connection can grow weak, right? And that is what inevitably is going to happen, right? Because you're not sitting in the cave as a hermit and only, right, sitting in the dark and only connected with that energy. You have to go out, connect with people, places, and things. Therefore, this energy kind of dissipates. So then after 2 weeks, if you still want to work with that energy, you then sit in meditation and reactivate that pentacle. I think that's a great way of working with it because it keeps you aligned to that energy. It keeps you in being very intentional about what it is that you're doing. And, you know, a good meditation keeps you aligned and balanced anyway, right? This is something that we all should be doing regardless of activating the pentacles. So now I'm going to, before I get into the 5 planetary pentacles of Venus, I want to just share quickly 2 books that I've shared here that I use with working with these pentacles. There's more books that when you really get into it, right, there's more books that add information and add more of your personal gnosis in working with these planetary energies. There's more books, right, obviously. But these are the 2 that, if you are just starting, these are the 2 that I recommend. So this is the Planetary Magick, which many of us know about, right? This is not something that's new, but I recommend this highly to begin your work with the pentacles or just planetary magic. And the next is, and I've done, I talked about this on this channel also, is the Sorcery of Solomon by Sarah Mastros. And the reason why I suggest this is because I like how she breaks it down. She goes into detail about, because, when you look at the traditional pentacles, they have the Hebrew names. That could be a deterrent for some people. So she breaks it down, what that means, what it says, and even categorizes gives a title to the pentacle based on what it's about. So I recommend this book if you are wanting to work with Pentacles of Solomon. The next thing that I want to go over, just share the different pentacles of Venus. There are 5, so each one has a more specific thing that it does. So, right, each planet has different virtues, and virtues are, it's the attributes of that planet, the archetype, and the way that it acts, almost like epithets, the different parts of that planet. So the first pentacle of Venus is, it induces pure love and friendship between people, especially between spouses. The second pentacle of Venus promotes love and compassion between people and between man and his creator, and it brings dignity, grace, and fulfillment. The third pentacle of Venus helps to attract the love of a desirable person, brings love and admiration from those around you. The fourth pentacle of Venus is helpful in bringing people together from remote places and unifying them, solves difficulties in realizing marriage, and settles marital problems in good spirit. And the fifth pentacle of Venus, it intensifies the desire of a loved one to you, makes your partner fulfill your romantic wishes, and helps you become desirable by people. So working with the pentacles, and in this video we're talking about the pentacles of Venus, you have to sit and think about why you want to use the pentacles, and this will determine and dictate which of the pentacles that you would work with. I recommend, if you are going to work with planetary pentacles, I recommend especially if you want to work with that planet's energy, right? You you activate each of them, right? And maybe even consecutively, right? The first 2 weeks is the first Pentacle of Venus. The second 2 weeks is the second Pentacle of Venus, and so on. That is my recommendation, because it gives you the fullness of that planet. So, and that is only if, right, you really want to work with the Pentacles. If you're like, no, I don't want to do all that, I want this specific, I want this direct, specific intention to be set, then that is how you would go about choosing which Pentacle to work with. Now, in the next video that I do, I don't know if it's going to be the next video, but I am going to share with you the activation process. So it will be a full meditation, full activation, so that you can, at that time, if you desire, use that video to sit with that video in while you are simultaneously activating a specific pentacle. So that's what I wanted to share in the video today, all about the pentacles, how I've used them in the past, and the other traditional way that you can, well, not other traditional way, the traditional way that you work with the pentacles. And I will put the information to the course on Udemy, where she goes through the traditional way of working with the pentacles. Also, if you have not heard, I've created a new space outside of Patreon. I'm moving my Patreon over to school, and it is under the Magick Alchemy Circle. And you can join for free and be a part of the community, and go and be, you know, as a free member, you could post and be a part of the coffee hour each week, where we catch up. And that coffee hour is, there's no video. We just chat via audio and just say, you know, inspire, uplift, just see how everyone's doing. But that's the coffee hour, and you have access to posting and viewing the post. And of course, there's other tiers that I have there, premium and VIP. Pretty much like the tier setting that I have over on Patreon. However, this allows for you, even as a free member, to be a part and be more active in the community. So go over and check that out. I am loving that platform. School, if you are looking to build a community, I highly, highly, highly recommend them. And I will put the link to that. If you are interested in building a community, you can start for only $9 a month. Right? If you want to build your own community, it is only $9 a month, and you have your sacred space, your, you know, just for you and just for everyone. And it doesn't even have to be something where you want to have paid tiers. It is just a space that's dedicated. There's no algorithm. It's just you and your community. So I highly recommend it, but go over and check out the Magick Alchemy Circle, where we just started. So until the next video, I love you all, and into the shadows.